Mr. Bhatt has never apparently done a film for the same producer twice over, one after the other. And because Duplicate didn't go where it was meant to, I think Bhatt Saab, at that time the topmost director, had agreed to do it. And Tom Uncle was very keen कि बिरादर वो Bhatt Saab कर रहे हैं एक और हमारे साथ, तो ये वाली करनी है क्या पहले? तो I said नहीं, पिक्चर तो मुझे करण के साथ ही करनी है, because I'd spent time with him on Dilwale. And Adi was really besotted with too many things happening on the set, too many people, first film for everyone. And I kind of noticed how quietly, sweetly, and with a great sense of humor and ease, Karan used to be assisting Adi to get the film right. Most of the dialogue stuff that I did in Dilwale, Adi would tell me, "Tu ja Karan ke saath kar le," and then Karan would come down and we would figure out how to do the lines with the rest of the actors also. And I realized that he has a strange, honest spark in him. And I like people with a sense of humor. I get bored by serious people. Adi's the only serious people I love, actually. But Invisible Adi. And so he came and he narrated a story to me, and everyone should know the story he narrated to me during in that hotel on the steps of Chahat shoot was crap and nonsense. Utterly not like the film that you finally saw. And in his own way, that Karan is actually, man of many words and the gift of the gab, and thinking he's impressing everyone, he's got it all right. He actually thought he's impressed me with this crap story. I've never told him. He was sitting on steps like this, and he said, and then ye hota hai, aur uske aur kuch nahi hota tha. Ekdam bakwas kahani thi wo. And he till date feels कि मुझे वो याद नहीं है वो कहानी क्या थी. And then he of course came with Kajol, and both of them just kept crying in my room. और फिर अंजलि, and then when he would stop and narrate कि, and in the next scene bhai, so I heard nothing. I heard two imbeciles crying, and could not
make out. In our defense, we really thought that we were making a fabulous film. And when Karan narrated the script to me, I was like, each and every scene, I was feeling like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's going to be so cool when we do it.
And yeah, so I didn't know the story then. I didn't realize the story when we did Chahat narration. I didn't understand the story when Kajol and Karan narrated it to me. And like Twinkle, I'm glad, she didn't do the film and she thinks that helped the film. I'm glad I didn't hear the story and just went ahead with what Karan believed in. Otherwise, it would not be as great a film as it is, because with my inputs, this would be trash. So thank you, Karan, for not making me hear your film.
I remember going to every lead actress for the part that Rani did, starting after Tina. And actually, Tina is not the one who called me and told me that she wasn't doing it. It was her mother who called me. And I still remember, so she didn't even actually call me. Her mother called me and I was still at the Shamiana at the Taj, and she said that, Tina is not comfortable doing the film, and I remember feeling very shattered. After that, of course, I went to many girls. I went to, I think, every lead actress that there was at that time. There were 7 of them. And ironically, Aditya Chopra called me and he said that, "तूने ये shot देखी है इस picture में, राजा की आएगी बारात? उसमें वो करती है, ऐसे क्या करती है? वो गाती है राजा की आएगी बारात." तो I said, वो तू देख ले, जिस तरह वो करती है ना, वो सुपरस्टार है. So I said, कैसे किया उसने? He said, मैं नहीं बता सकता, तू ट्रेलर देख ले. So I said, okay. And then Shah Rukh had also seen the same shot. So I said, why are these two men after this one girl who has done this one shot called Raja Ki Aayegi Barat? And anyway, by that time, every lead actress available in the fraternity had said no to me. And I said, I might have to wear that short skirt and do the role because nobody was left. And then I went to Rani, and I didn't realize how short she was till I reached the house. And when I opened the door, she opened the door, I had to look and say, oh, hello. and it was Rani. And then there was Nikhil and Tarun with me, the ADs on the film, and they were sitting on the side. And I narrated the first half because that was all that there was, barring one, and the first half. And then she said, can you come to my room? So I got nervous because no girl had ever asked me to come to their room before. And so I was like, okay, I'll come. What happened? And she told me in the room that, how are you going to convince an audience? I don't want to say it next to your assistants, but how are you going to convince everybody that Shahrukh likes me over Kajol? Because they were the eternal love pair. And I said, just trust me and go with it. And Rani, do you remember that?
I do remember that. And I do remember crying also after narration. So I also cried. I think it was your sincerity and You were so cute and fat that time.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I really miss you like that. Though everybody likes you like this, but I miss you like that.
Well, he's gone till you haven't grown taller, darling.
And also, I think everybody thinks that I'm a Yashraj heroine, but actually the first family I made in the industry was Dharma. So thank you, Karan. Thank you, Hiru auntie.
What everybody, I always tell you that. What do you mean? I take full credit for you, Rani. Don't.
So I think the love that I got from them was very special because I was a newcomer then. And what was special about Yash Uncle and Karan at that time was that though there were two big stars in the film, they never treated me unequally. And I thought that was very special because I had no idea how newcomers are treated. But the kind of love and the kind of attention that I got from Karan, that was very, very touching. And I always remember that till date. And that's why I love you, Karan, and you're special.
I love you, Rani. And I still remember
snatching my plate of breakfast.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He has harassed me in the movie. I remember.
No, I just told you.
He's really special. He's feeling very special right now.
He has harassed me because he has snatched my plate of food, which I was eating in the morning, of the shot that keeps coming in the trailer, which is my orange short top and short skirt. And I remember Manish and Karan walking by, and I was sitting with, I think, the junior artist, and I was eating my breakfast, and they both looked at me and gone, "Huh? You can't eat that. Remove the plate from my hand. Remove the plate from my hand." And they actually snatched my plate, and then Manish became like very nice and said, no, you can't snatch a plate. Give the food back to her.
No, we called the room service and said not to give you food. Because that time she was supposed to be the bomb in college and she had to lose weight, and she ended up putting on weight and coming to Mauritius. And then we were like, how are these clothes? Which Manish had bought these really stretched fabric kind of things, and we were like, how are they going to fit her? So
no, but I think you should tell them the story about my mom in the outdoor, from whom actually Manish went, and I think you should narrate the story.
It was the funniest.
It's really funny. And of course the Koi Mil Gaya costume.
That Koi Mil Gaya costume. So when Manish made the Koi Mil Gaya costume, it was a spandex silver dress, which because it's a stretch fabric on a hanger, it looks really tiny. So we went to the DOP Santosh Tundial, and I said, he's saying, for baby? So he thought it was for that small Sana. He said, this is for baby? So I said, no, this is for Rani. And then he stared at it and thought we had lost the plot because it was this tiny. But anyway, subsequently, of course, it looked really good on Rani and we managed it. But that other story was about that was funny because she was meant to be a sequence in...
No, that actually shows what a good costume designer Manish is actually.
No, because Krishna auntie, her mother, used to always go out to sleep in the van because
bus.
The locations were high. She used to, in the bus,
Yeah.
she used to fall out to sleep. It was a bus that those days we didn't have individual vans. We used to go together. And she was supposed to be a Mangal Sutra Rani to wear. It was a flash. It was a cut that was supposed to insinuate that she's already married. So I had told Manish, I'll need a Mangal Sutra, but Manish had forgotten. So of course he didn't want to tell me that he had forgotten. So he went running to the bus and woke up Krishna auntie and said, "Mujhe apna Mangal Sutra de do." So Krishna auntie was like, "मैं नहीं दूंगी अपना मंगलसूत्र." So because he was just wondering why Manish Malhotra is asking for a Mangalsutra in the middle of the day. "Nahi dungi," and he had to pull and yank off the Mangalsutra, and of course come up, and it happened to have an orange bead in it, which also happened to be the color of Rani's sari at that time. So Manish, full performance, has come and said, "Here, this is the Mangalsutra," and see, I matched it to her sari. Actually, he had done no such thing. He had done no such thing. He has given it to me shot. Then after the shot is over, I turn around and I see huffing and puffing Krishna auntie charging up that slope for her Mangalsutra, her suhag ki nishani. And then she came and told me, "Wo hamara suhag le gaya." And I was like, what does she mean? Like, what happened there? And then I realized it was there. But anyway, there were such funny stories. Kajol, of course, we tortured you a lot also with your wig and your clothes. And we tried to get that. Mickey was traumatized the first schedule when you had to wear that bob cut because you refused to cut your hair. And you didn't...
Excuse me! What would have happened to that huge big shot that you had of, slow motion mein turn karna?
Oh, that second half mein tha na?
I would have grown my hair by that time.
Yeah, but did you get as tortured as Bhai says that you cried right through the film, but you did not cry on
No, I didn't cry. I only remember one thing where y'all were really nasty to me and y'all tried to convince me that I was a junior artist.
No, that was Bhai will tell you when...
That both of y'all tried very hard to convince me that I was a junior artist as a backup
but
dancer.
Bhai will tell you the story. It was in Mauritius in that cycle sequence. What happened to Kajol?
First, he threw me off the bike so that I fell and hit my head. You did.
Yeah,
I see the story like that.
I treat
Please
women
tell them.
like this only, yeah. But we were to do a cycle thing, and I think Kajol is not very good at cycling. And you know, so we were supposed to ride and leave hands or something, and she had been practicing, and then suddenly she slipped. Right in front of me, the whole handle turned, and she went flying, and she landed like this on the ground.
On her head, yeah.
On her head, like thump, like that. And because Kajol laughs at everything, then we also naturally laugh at everything. Even
What has that got to do with it?
because she laughs at so we also and then we went and kind of picked her up and realized it was a little serious. And like, you know, in comic books, you have those little bees and birds and flying. So she like this, like that. And amazingly, she had short-term amnesia. She had lost her memory.
And she truly did. She forgot.
Truly did. First we thought, you know, it's the shock because she like, what? She didn't even, I mean, later on I'll tell you, she didn't even recognize Ajay when we called him and said,
Liar.
She
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
We
you
had to
didn't,
lie.
Kajol.
You
You had no idea.
You had no idea. No, honestly. We called
You
up Ajay to say, and then he called Ajay and all. But she forgot everyone. And we took her to the room, and I think we tried to give her something like Advil of that time or whatever, paracetamol, something. And she had actually lost her memory, and she didn't know who she was with, what she was doing here. And it was really funny if it wasn't so serious. Actually, it was funny. It wasn't serious at all. And at one point in time, I thought maybe we should now convince her that she's somebody else. So even if she never wakes up from this amnesia, then she will always be that person.
Be the backup dancer, basically.
So we kind of told her, because, you know, me and Kajol both have this issue, we can't dance well. And so I just thought to just, you know, some quirky, weird sense of humor that, you know, maybe if I convince her she's a backup dancer, so when she comes round to it, maybe she'll become a better dancer. Or something like that. It was out of
he told you,
goodness,
convinced her that she's a background dancer.
Background dancer. Out of goodness of my heart to improve your dancing, I just did that. And see, ever since then, have you noticed some of the steps you're getting a little? But she came back, I think a couple of hours of sleep, and then she sort of, and it was afterwards very scary, to be honest, that she genuinely lost her memory. Yeah.
I still remember the very first day we shot the song Koi Mil Gaya, and Rani was the only one who had rehearsed the song. She had rehearsed it for 15 days because she also had the time at that point. And they were shooting, and so she rehearsed the song, and Kajol and Shah Rukh came. They were the superstars, and they walked in and whatever, and Farah was being Farah, and the step started, and they played that Koi Mil Gaya, that song, that step Koi Mil Gaya, and finally, Kajol looked, and she said, because Rani was doing something totally different. So Kajol looked and said, what is she doing? She's doing it all wrong. And from loud, like the voice of God, Farah said, she is doing it right. Y'all both are doing rubbish. But if anyone knows Farah, they'll know that she says the most inappropriate things on the mic. Once she's even looked at one of the backup dancers and said, why are you looking so sad in the shot? Who died? And she said, actually, my mom last evening. And she got a shock. She was like...